Hey, what's good, people? Just taking a stroll through Sunset Park, one of my favorite places in Vegas. You know, people say that Vegas doesn't have enough nature, but this is natural enough for me. There's trees, there's grass. I don't mind the people playing sports or the kids at the park and stuff. There's like a man-made lake too, but I appreciate it. There's ducks. So, you know, it's definitely enjoyable, at least in my opinion. But I feel like I reached a certain kind of breaking point recently where I guess I got tired of feeling lonely, tired of feeling sad, tired of feeling isolated, and instead of just continuing to rebel against it or fight against it, somebody told me recently, you know, I was like telling them, like, you know, I feel like if I keep going like this, I'm just gonna have to become a monk. And they were like, oh, maybe it's a calling. And it made me feel really hurt, made me feel real dismissed. But maybe they were right. Maybe it is a calling, and maybe I need to just accept the temporary isolation, you know, isolation. I do feel, and I've heard a few astrologers or tarot readers or something of the sort recently say that the audience they were talking to, that we're in a liminal space, and I definitely feel that way. Like I'm in between one world that I left and a new world that I'm stepping into. I am down 50 pounds since December. I'm pretty sure I had already reached this point before, but then I, you know, gained like 10 pounds back. So I actually started running recently. I added that to my gym routine, and I'm back down. So I weigh about 240 right now. I had made it all the way up to 290. I've only weighed around that much like twice in my life. And yeah, so I'm happy to be down to 240. I'm pretty excited about that, honestly. And my goal is even more than that. So I'm definitely going to keep pushing. But today, you know, I've had the opportunity to kind of roam around the city, have a lot of time to think. In a certain way, not having a car is good for me right now. It's been hot out, I will admit that. But it's good for me to put my feet to the pavement, not only as exercise or to further cultivate my archetype as the character of the hiking ghost, but also because it's allowing me to put my feet, my 10 toes down on this pavement and make the city mine, you know, make this process mine, make this adventure mine, make this journey mine. And as the hero of my own adventure, I guess that's the best thing for me to do. I lived here with my ex for a couple years before, during our relationship. And when I first got here, a lot of things reminded me of her. A lot of things were painful, but it's been 6 months now, and, you know, I'm reclaiming the space. I'm reclaiming the places. And I started thinking about that today. So before I lived in Vegas, I lived in Southern California, in Orange County. You know, as like a school student, regular like K through 12, I basically did it all in Orange County. Maybe I did kindergarten in LA, but Southern California anyways. And so that being said, when I took her out there to explore places, theme parks and things of that nature, they also became entangled with the memories of her. So I'm planning on going and revisiting those places before the year is over and reclaiming them as my own. And the other place that I'm eventually going to have to go to, because I still have some things in storage up in Reno, So I'm going to go to Reno. Reno is not one of my favorite places at all, and I don't really care for the city itself, but I love Virginia City. And I feel like I was made to connect to Virginia City in this lifetime. I don't know if I legitimately experienced another life there before or what the case is. What's really crazy is that there was some type of major astrological event last year that happened that hadn't happened in, like 150 years. Basically, like since the 1850s or something, or maybe a little bit earlier than that, which was around the time of like the Comstock Lode, the gold rush, and then eventually the, what led to be the 49ers of San Francisco of 1849. But I've been learning all this like history of gold and silver mining since I was a kid, growing up in Southern California in Orange County, and then doing college here in Las Vegas. I had to study the local history of Nevada and how Las Vegas was developed as the Meadows, Las Vegas, and the reason that the Spaniards came here and the Mormons and all these different people, because it was kind of like an oasis in the desert. But the reality is that I feel like I genuinely have some kind of a connection to Virginia City. And even though I shared love and history with my ex there, I can't just abandon that. Maybe she was just the catalyst to help reconnect me with the place from another lifetime, or whatever karmic attachment that I have to Virginia City. But eventually, in hopefully the next couple months, I'm going to go back there, and I'll definitely be filming hiking ghost adventures for all these places. But I'm also going to be putting my 10 toes down and hiking through each of these places and reclaiming them as my own, for my own life, for my own adventure. And one year, my ex and I, we were in Virginia City. We stayed at the Silver Queen Hotel, which was kind of our place. But I don't want that to be tarnished, because I love Virginia City. And the history was strange enough, in the 1800s, it was a little bit more difficult to track or to keep the narrative right. So, there's some historical discrepancies, but there was a huge fire there in October of one year of the 1800s. And when I happened to be there that weekend for my birthday a few years ago, they actually said October 25th on one of the tours or something that we went on. And October 25th is my birthday. And that day, it happened to snow. And we were both kind of like, whoa. So like 150 years ago, this place burnt down. A huge chunk of the city burnt down. And now, 150 years later, we're here on Zeke's birthday, and it's snowing. So it was almost like this flip, but it made me feel really close and real connected to Virginia City. And I did train there as well to be a ghost tour guide. It ended up not working out, but I still have the knowledge. I still have the information encoded in the data banks. That's one perk to being an autistic person, being on the spectrum, is that I love gathering and collecting data and information, and it stays with me, just like the same way that so much of the stuff that I learned when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old stayed with me for decades. And when I started traveling with my ex throughout Nevada and California, I would remember like, oh yeah, they taught us about this when I was a kid, about the 49ers and the mines, the gold mines and the silver mines. And, you know, even living here in Vegas, you'll cross streets that are called Tonopah and Comstock. And those places have those names because these are old, like, mining towns that are part of the history of the state of Nevada, which really refers to, like, the snow-capped mountaintops. And so all of that being said, I guess at this moment in time, as much pain and suffering and everything that I've gone through, I have to be grateful, and I have to understand that everything happens for some reason. And as much as a part of me still wishes that certain things were different, I can understand that other things were meant to be, no matter what. And other things were meant to be brought to my attention and to cross my path for one reason or another. And even if my ex was unable to join me for the adventures as a hiking ghost, I'm still continuing with that. And I feel like a deep passion for it because it's so many things that I love, you know? Like the cemeteries, museums, art, concerts, events, amusement parks, history. Like, I love all of those things. That and temples and churches. Those are like my favorite places to explore, you know, in the world. It's just something that brings me joy. And so I guess that being said, yeah, I'm just grateful no matter what. So thank you for those of you that stuck around and listened to the whole thing here. This is one of my longer reels that I've ever made, but I had a lot to share today, so I figured I'd put it out there. My youngest daughter's birthday was just July 5th. 4th of July always reminds me of when I drove her mother to the hospital so that she could be born early in the morning on July 5th. And I suffer, you know, a lot of loneliness, a lot of isolation, a lot of alienation. I've been scapegoated a lot in my life. I've been gaslit and manipulated and taken advantage of. And I have had a lot of cool opportunities along the way as well. And, you know, I'm sorry for anybody that I've hurt along the way. I guess, you know, we all pay for our sins, for our karma. And I'm hoping that I burnt up enough of it already, because I'm kind of tired of it. But I am committed to being this adventurous, spirited gentleman. And I even want to refer to myself as a young man. Even if I'm not as young as some other people might be, I don't care. I won't accept the label of old. I am a youthful, loving individual. And I have love and joy in my heart for different aspects of the world. And I want to share that with you guys through the digital Ouija, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube or wherever else it might be. So thank you guys for tuning in. And this is Zeke the Hiking Ghost saying salute.